Hi, everybody. My name is Christy Bertolino. Thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this project. So this is going to be focused on enhancing the mental health and well-being of emergency room nurses by implementing mindfulness stress reduction techniques. What this is going to include is some breathing techniques, also going to include some meditation and some yoga practices. This will take place over a period of approximately 8 weeks. What we're going to do is send out an anonymous stress scale. It's called the perceived stress scale. You'll answer those questions anonymously and then participate in the 8 weeks of mindfulness stress reduction, and then retake that stress scale and see if there is any improvement. So thank you again for participating in my project. All right, so I promise I'm not just going to sit here and read PowerPoint slides to you. If you need to, you can just put this on mute and fast forward and read through yourself. But one of the things I want to talk about is resilience. And nurses in general, we know, have a high level of expectation, the demand placed on nurses from management, physicians, even your coworkers, and of course the patients. We are basically demanded to provide high quality care and also maintain a level of emotional strength that most careers do not have to maintain that same level of strength. One of the things about resilience is that it can really serve as a protective factor against any negative outcomes. And this is not a lecture on like, hey, you need to be stronger necessarily. This is more of a skill development. Can you as an individual develop that skill of resilience, and do you even want to develop that skill of resilience? So all of these will just be questions as we progress through this. All right, so let's talk about what it means to work in the emergency department. We're all there. We all know what it's like. We all know how critical the patients can be, how demanding the family members can be, how demanding the providers can be. It's definitely a lot of work. I wish I could open the floor and ask everybody their experience. I wish I could ask people how they actually feel right now. Instead, I'm going to have you write down on a piece of paper what you feel every morning going into the emergency department, or every evening going into the emergency department. What do you feel when you're sitting in the car before you exit the vehicle and you know you have to go clock in? What are you feeling? Are you feeling like, I just hope I make it through the day? Are you feeling, God, should I look up another job? Are you feeling, did I get enough coffee? Like what are your emotions? Or are you just not even thinking about it? Do you just go with the flow at this point? Just get out of the car and go with it. What are you thinking? So I'm going to ask you for this slide, if you could just take out a piece of paper and write down the top 3 things you are feeling before going into work. Is it angst? Is it anger? Is it energy? Is it excitement? Is it dread? I know for a while, and I hate to say this, but for the first few months going into Lodi, because I was hired during COVID, like when we had COVID Alley, that's when I was hired. And I remember thinking, if I just spent 15 minutes before coming into work looking for another job, then maybe I could find something else. Obviously I didn't do that. I'm still here. But those are just real emotions that we all go through. So just take a few minutes and write those things down. All right, so for the next couple of slides, I'll just have you read those on your own. And it talks about working on the front lines in the ED and also occupational stress and what that means. Really think about your feelings, and also think about your reactions and what your lived experience is as an emergency nurse, and also think about your lived experience at home, especially if you've had a very stressful shift, or maybe it was just a very exhausting shift, or maybe it was a shift where you didn't get any breaks. Really think about how you emotionally react to that and how you physically react to that, and what you do at the end of your shifts when you go home to cope. And also think about what it is that you're doing while you're in your shift, in the moment, to cope. Think about those things and just write down some points that may come to mind as you're reading through these slides. Okay, so just to reiterate, this project is on mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques, aiming to decrease occupational stress and enhance resilience. Obviously, this course is only several weeks along, and while the goal is to accomplish some change, real change takes time and effort and consistency. So even if we are able to establish new habits or make small changes, that is great progress, especially in working with such a stressful job and in such a stressful environment. So do the best that you can, and just get what you are able to out of this project, out of this presentation. Again, I thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you can get at least something out of this.